Have you ever noticed how easily we tend to follow the advice of experts or authority figures? This is the fascinating realm of authority bias, a psychological tendency that shapes our actions based on the perceived credibility of those in charge. From doctors prescribing medications to experts endorsing products, we often rely on the opinions of authoritative figures to guide our choices. Whether it's a celebrity endorsing a cosmetic line or a scientist promoting a new diet plan, their endorsement can sway our decisions, even if we're not experts in those fields. Authority bias taps into our desire to make efficient decisions. When we trust someone's expertise, we're more likely to follow their guidance rather than investing time in researching on our own. To illustrate the power of authority, let's look at the famous Milgram experiment. Participants were influenced to administer potentially harmful shocks to others simply because an authoritative figure instructed them to do so. The Milgram experiment revealed the potential dark side of authority influence. It reminds us to be cautious and aware of blindly following authority figures without questioning their intentions. Critical thinking is a powerful tool to counteract the effects of authority bias. It encourages us to question and evaluate the information presented by authorities. By researching, seeking diverse perspectives, and assessing the credibility of sources, we can make more informed and balanced decisions. Recognizing the impact of authority bias also sheds light on the responsibility of those in positions of authority. Their influence can shape public opinion and behavior, making ethical considerations crucial. Authority figures must wield their influence responsibly. As they guide public decisions, they should prioritize accuracy, transparency, and ethical behavior. While experts play a valuable role, it's crucial to remember that your choices should be driven by a balance of information and your own values. As we navigate a world filled with authoritative voices, let's aim to be discerning consumers of information. By recognizing the influence of authority bias, we empower ourselves to make choices aligned with our best interests. Conclusion: a balance of information, social comparison. Have you ever found yourself comparing your achievements, possessions, or appearance to those of others? This is the intriguing realm of social comparison, a psychological tendency that influences us to evaluate ourselves based on others. Social comparison is a natural inclination driven by our need to understand our place in the world. We often measure our worth and success by looking at others. From social media feeds filled with curated snapshots of others' lives to performance reviews at work, we're constantly assessing ourselves in relation to those around us. Social comparison can be both motivating and distressing. When we compare ourselves to those doing better, it can inspire us to strive for growth. However, constant comparison can lead to feelings of inadequacy. Social comparison can be classified into two types: upward and downward. Upward comparison involves comparing ourselves to those we perceive as better off, while downward comparison involves comparing to those we perceive as worse off. If you feel motivated to work harder after seeing someone's achievements, that's upward comparison. On the other hand, if you feel grateful for your circumstances after seeing someone less fortunate, that's downward comparison. Healthy social comparison involves using insights from both upward and downward comparison to inspire personal growth and foster gratitude. It's important to avoid constant comparison that leads to self-criticism. The rise of social media has magnified the effects of social comparison. It's crucial to remember that what's presented online often represents curated snapshots, not the entirety of someone's life. Online personas are often a highlight reel. It's essential to distinguish between reality and perception when engaging with social media content. Amidst the noise of comparison, it's important to celebrate individuality. Each person's journey is unique, and there's value in embracing our own paths. Embrace your journey and focus on your personal growth. Remember that comparisons can limit your potential. Instead, strive for progress that aligns with your aspirations. Conclusion: a tool for reflection and inspiration. Reception of a psychological tendency. Have you ever taken information at face value simply because it came from a trusted source? This is the captivating realm of authority bias in information consumption, a psychological tendency that influences us to accept information from authoritative figures without much scrutiny. Authority bias extends beyond product endorsements. It also shapes how we perceive news, advice, and information from experts. When a news anchor reports a story, we often accept it without questioning because of the perceived authority associated with the role. Authority bias in information consumption can lead to echo chambers, where we only consume information that aligns with our existing beliefs. This reinforces our trust in those who confirm our viewpoints. Critical thinking is a vital tool in navigating the influence of authority bias. It encourages us to question and verify information rather than accepting it blindly. Critical thinking prompts us to evaluate the credibility of sources, assess the evidence, and consider alternative viewpoints. It's essential for making informed decisions. By honing your critical thinking skills, you empower yourself to assess information based on its merit rather than the authority behind it. The prevalence of misinformation highlights the importance of scrutinizing information sources. Misinformation can spread rapidly when people unquestioningly trust sources without verifying the accuracy. Misinformation takes advantage of authority bias. People are more likely to share and believe false information if it's presented by someone they consider authoritative. Media literacy plays a pivotal role in countering authority bias. By developing media literacy skills, you can distinguish between reliable and unreliable sources. Media literacy empowers us to evaluate sources, analyze content, and discern between fact and opinion. It's an essential skill in today's information-saturated world. Unchecked authority bias can have significant consequences. It can perpetuate misinformation, lead to biased opinions, and hinder progress. Historical examples remind us of the importance of questioning authority. Challenging established norms and seeking diverse perspectives are essential for a well-informed society. Striving for balanced perspectives is key to countering the influence of authority bias. It helps us see the full spectrum of information and make more informed decisions. Conclusion: practice critical thinking, the world of cognitive biases. Have you ever wondered why your mind sometimes leads you to unexpected conclusions? This is the world of cognitive biases, the subtle yet powerful shortcuts our brains take when processing information. Cognitive biases are mental patterns that influence our thoughts, judgments, and decisions. They're like invisible filters that affect how we perceive reality. From the confirmation bias that makes us seek information that confirms our existing beliefs to the availability heuristic that leads us to overestimate the likelihood of events based on recent experiences, these biases impact our choices in profound ways. Cognitive biases served as survival mechanisms in our evolutionary past, helping us make quick decisions. However, in the modern world, they can lead to errors in judgment and decision-making. Cognitive biases play a significant role in consumer behavior. Advertisers and marketers often leverage these biases to influence our preferences and purchasing decisions. From scarcity tactics that trigger the fear of missing out to social proof that convinces us to follow the crowd, cognitive biases are the invisible forces driving our consumer choices. Awareness of cognitive biases is the first step toward countering their influence. By engaging in critical thinking and questioning our automatic reactions, we can make more informed decisions. Recognizing our cognitive biases allows us to pause, reflect, and consider alternative perspectives. It's about empowering ourselves to think beyond our default settings. In a world saturated with information and influence, mindful decision-making becomes crucial. By acknowledging our biases and seeking diverse viewpoints, we can make choices that align with our values. Strategies like seeking out contradictory information, taking time before making decisions, and cultivating empathy can help counter the impact of cognitive biases. Whether it's in personal relationships, work environments, or consumer choices, these strategies enable us to navigate the complexities of bias. The roots of cognitive biases lie in our brain's evolutionary history. These biases were once adaptive for survival, but they can now lead to hasty judgments in today's complex world. Our brains evolved to process information quickly, but these shortcuts can lead to errors when facing modern challenges. As we navigate the intricate landscape of cognitive biases, ongoing self-awareness is key. Regularly questioning our thoughts and beliefs helps us adapt to changing contexts. Conclusion: make your own choices. Realm of reciprocity. Have you ever felt obligated to return a favor or gesture after someone has done something nice for you? This is the fascinating realm of reciprocity, a psychological principle that governs our innate urge to repay kindness with kindness. Reciprocity is deeply rooted in our social fabric. It's a form of social currency that strengthens relationships and creates a sense of obligation to give back. From receiving a free sample at a store to getting a personalized discount code in your inbox, businesses often leverage reciprocity to create a sense of indebtedness. Reciprocity taps into our desire for fairness and balance in social interactions. When someone does something for us, our brains are wired to respond with gratitude and a willingness to reciprocate. Reciprocity also extends to persuasive techniques like the door in the face. This involves making a large request that's likely to be declined, followed by a smaller request that you're more inclined to agree with. For example, if a charity asks for a large donation and you decline, they might follow up with a smaller request, which you're more likely to agree to due to the perceived concession. The door-in-the-face technique leverages reciprocity by creating a sense of give and take. By first declining the larger request, you feel more inclined to grant the smaller request as a form of repayment. Being aware of the influence of reciprocity can help you make more mindful decisions. Ask yourself if you genuinely want to engage or if you're simply responding out of a sense of obligation. While reciprocity can be powerful, it's important to ensure that your intentions are genuine. Acts of kindness should come from a place of authenticity rather than being driven solely by the expectation of return. By embracing reciprocity with genuine intentions, we create a positive cycle of kindness that goes beyond transactions. It's also interesting to consider how cultural and societal norms impact reciprocity. Different cultures have varying expectations when it comes to giving and receiving, further highlighting the complexity of this phenomenon. Reciprocity can vary widely across cultures. In some cultures, giving and receiving is deeply ingrained in social interactions, while in others, there's a stronger emphasis on individualism. As we navigate a world filled with exchanges and interactions, let's strive to embrace reciprocity as a force for positive change. By understanding its influence and considering cultural nuances, we empower ourselves to make choices that align with our values. Conclusion: reciprocity with genuine intentions. Reflect on the times you've experienced reciprocity and consider how it shaped your decisions. Share your thoughts in the comments below. How do you approach giving and receiving in a genuine and meaningful way?